Hey guys, how's it going? It is July 25th, 2021, just past 10:30 Eastern on a Sunday night. What a weekend. Oh, it was nice. I mean, it got a little humid today and all, but uh, man, I got some drone footage. I'm doing things a little differently. By the way, if my voice sounds a little weird at some point, I got canker sores on my tongue, my lips, so I may sound a little weird, but that's okay. We'll get through this. Got lots on my mind actually. Uh, I just posted about 10,000 characters over on TrainSim. But anyways, as I was saying, what was I saying? I don't know what the hell I was saying. Like I said, I got so much on my mind. It is crazy. Yeah, TrainSim. I was just over there. I posted a novel, and it was just over 10,000 characters, and that was nuts. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I'll talk about that in a moment. The what I'm doing now is I decided I am just going to upload my raw videos from anything that I do. I'm not going to go through them. I'm not going to do a live stream where I go through the video and comment on them or anything like that. I'm not going to add some goofy music that nobody gives a rat's ass about. I'm not going to bring a sound recorder and edit it into it, even though the sound's totally different from where the position is in the air. No, I'm not doing any of that stuff. If you like the video, you like the video. If you don't, I don't care. When I play American Truck Simulator, I turn the radio on. I still hear the road, I still hear everything else, but if it was totally silent, that'd be fine because I got the radio. And if I didn't, I'd put on my own stuff, so I don't care. If people don't like it, too bad. Don't watch. That's the way I look at it. That's my attitude. I'm sticking with it. No, not that many people care anyways, so that's more for the benefit of myself and a few others who may like seeing some of the trains and give them a little bit of Niagara rail fanning, which isn't much, but I try to do what I can do. Anyways, so yeah, I got what I'm doing with that stuff is more of a. I'm still, like I said the other night, I still love going out and watching trains, and I only saw technically 4 trains today, although it basically comprised of, for the most part, one train out of the 3 that turned into the switcher. So you got your basics, your usual basics: 421, 422. 562 is a switcher. Breaks down what comes in from Toronto. This yard right here, exactly. This is where 421 originates from. It comes down into Niagara. Usually comes down in the morning, but it came down this afternoon, which really buggered everything up. I wish it was a little bit earlier because maybe I would have got some more drone footage of Port Robinson because I was doing pretty good, but I got some extra bonuses tonight. So watch the channel if you're interested in that stuff. It gets good. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to give you the raw footage, and then I am going to explain what's going on. But not only am I going to be able to do that, I'm going on some Google Sheets, and I'm going to start basically tracking the logistics of how these cars are broken down and where they're going, from what I can tell. Because that's what I'm trying to get. I don't know everything about Niagara. There's a lot of things I'm learning as far as different commodities and their logistics. So, I mean, I know what a 421 looks like and a 422 looks, well, yeah, they're basically the same, although a little bit different, going in different directions. I used to be able to tell the difference between them and a 330 and a 331. Anyways, I'm getting way off topic because that's what I don't want to talk about that. And what I would rather talk about. So, anyways, that's the channel change that's coming up. So you're gonna see some live videos. There's already one up there. I'll probably upload one a day or something. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a couple a day if I feel like it. Because then when I'm at work, when I'm bored on my lunch, I can, because I get an hour lunch, then I can start going into my Google Sheet and updating what I see. And we'll go from there. Sounds good? Awesome. On to the other stuff. The ongoing, usual, wonderful stuff of train simulation and what the hell is missing. So besides ruffling moderator's feathers as usual and getting into trouble for going off topic, where I basically said tonight, I said, yes, boss. It's on there. You'll see it. Maybe you won't see it. I don't know. Maybe it'll get deleted. Maybe I'll get a demerit point. Who knows? Look at this. This is the longest message that I've ever posted. Now, I posted a lot tonight on TrainSim, but this is a really good read. Hopefully my grammar is good. I did get cut off. I had one more paragraph, and I just I said, wow, there's a limit of 10,000 characters, and I hit it. So I had to shorten it, and made it short and sweet, and there it was. And not short and sweet. I have never hit that limit yet. This is the first time I did it. I wanted to start around 10 o'clock. I was still typing this up around 10 o'clock. But I was trying to get all my thoughts in. I basically go through the whole history of what I've seen in the train simulation over the past 20 years, and how the hell we're still missing the boat on this. And yet some other simulations like American Truck Simulator, they got it right on. And then you got other simulations like Ship Simulator, which for some stupid reason there's not a decent ship simulator out there. I mean, American Truck Simulator is pretty damn good. I mean, to me, it checks all the boxes. I mean, yes, there's some things that drive me nuts. For example, trucks that merge into traffic. Oh my God. Or even some cars too, and they don't know how to go from 2 lanes to 1 lanes, and it's hilarious that when the 2 lanes go to 1 lane, and it's a construction zone or whatever, and you have vehicles in front of you. One vehicle will go on the green, and then all of a sudden they'll stop. It'll be stop and go, stop and go. And so just keep going. You got a green light. That means you can go, but something in its logic tells them to stop, and they stop dead. Yeah, and the cars are just stopping them dead in the middle of the highway instead of just moving over. So my son has the right idea. He says, I just drive in the left lane." Like, he doesn't use the signal lights. He just drives in the left lane. He avoids all that crap. And they don't pay attention to signal lights anyway, so he's got a point. But I still try to use my signal lights, despite the fact that it's hard to see some of the signal lights, so it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's trying to do something. And I think I mean, how far have we come with it? And now they're redoing California and doing other things. How hard is it? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I know they got a lot of backing. I know these guys have been around for a while. They started off with Europe Truck Simulator, which I bought too. I enjoyed that too. I had no idea what Europe was like as far as driving or anything like that, but I wanted a truck simulator, and European Truck Simulator was out there. And when American Truck Simulator came out, at first I wasn't going to get it because, I had played European Truck Simulator, but I was kind of not interested into it. Or, and American Truck Simulator, when I first got it, I was tired at night sometimes, or I just didn't really feel like doing it. Plus, I was still into trains. So there was a part of me that didn't want to quite let go of that. Now I'm more willing to let it go, especially when my son enjoys watching me play it, and he doesn't fall asleep like I am with programming. And I can watch him. We take turns. It's really cool. He has his profile. I have mine. It's really cool. So we have a lot of fun. But anyways, that's American Truck Simulator. And American Truck Simulator's got some great stuff. There's things that some train simulators can use, like the lighting. The lighting is absolutely beautiful. At the night and the dusk and everything. Don't get me wrong, Run 8 does a good job with their sunsets and some of their lighting and all that. But when it comes to, I mean, don't get me wrong too. Their overall, lighting, I would say is pretty good. But when you compare it to something like Trains, for example, Trains, they have these like cones or whatever the hell it is. Run 8's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's better than Trains, I'll give it that. And it's certainly, their sunsets are some of the best. I think they even beat, I don't think they beat out TrainSim World, but I wouldn't say they beat out, they're very similar to American Truck Simulator, I think. Weather patterns, ditto, I would think, to some extent. But it is what it is. And, yeah. And their network. The network is the big thing. And this is why I mentioned America, and this is what I basically went through in this. American Truck Simulator has a great model, a great business model. So if I understand Run 8 correctly, and I'm going to talk about Run 8. Run 8's the top of the food chain as far as I'm concerned. They are the best, and yet people continue to use version 2 because they like it or whatever. People tend to get frustrated with other versions or have given up the hobby altogether. Some people have come over Run 8, and they're going to have fun for a long time. Guarantee you, they're going to have fun for a long time. There's plenty of first of all, learning how to run a train. It's just like it's kind of like e-sail, I think, because there's a lot of stuff to do in e-sail. But eventually, e-sail, I think, I got a funny feeling you get your money's worth because it's only $20 or something like that, and you would probably learn how to sail. But eventually, I think, there's a limitation on it. Run 8 is by far worth its money 10 times or more over, easily. And people bitch, oh, yeah, it's worth $50 and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? If version 3 came out and it was good enough, I'd buy it. $50 or whatever. If a route was a standalone route that was a smaller region, I would buy it. And they talked about doing it. I'd buy it. Just because the key here is being able to manage, not only just manage, but to be able to invite others to come run with you and still be able to run on something that you don't feel like you're getting only part of a network. Like, for example, they have multiplayer over on American Truck Simulator. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Now, mind you, their multiplayer is weird because they got this convoy system. So, I'm not a big fan of the convoy system, to be honest. And I haven't run into it. I'm waiting to see if Scott wants to run. I'll run to. Just for the fun of it, we'll do it. There's some key things I like about it. I love the fact that it's got a CB that works and all that other stuff. But it's their convoy system is it's just weird for me. So I don't play it for that. And a lot of people don't do multiplayer. A lot of people on the TrainSim forum do not do multiplayer. And they like version 2. They like version 2 the way it is. They're fine with it. They're curious to see what version 3. They're perfectly hunky dory, and they still have plenty of challenges that they can give themselves and all that. Hey, if I hadn't been into it for 7 to 8 years, and the amount of time that I put into it, perhaps I would still be finding things to do. Remember, towards the end, if you guys know me, I was trying different ways of doing things. And I would try different things, and I would give up eventually. Eventually I'd give up on it, then I'd try something else. See if that works. If it didn't work, I'd give up. To say everything that I ever created was a failure is bull. Southwest Forum is still, or sorry, Southwest server is still running. That's RTS. That's RTS. I mean, yes, they've changed it and they've done things to it, but that was the original. What they inherited was the RTS server. They took it over for me, and I gave them everything they needed to do, and it evolved. It's evolved now. They're doing different regions. They continue to support every single region that comes out, which is okay. I don't blame them. They don't want to lose anything. So I totally understand. For me personally, I lost interest after a while. And it had nothing to do with them. It just had to do with the fact that it required too many dispatchers. I was reserved to a point where I was willing to dispatch, but then when they didn't have enough people to dispatch, and I tried to fit in, and they had dispatchers doing way too much, in my opinion. That's when they were short on manpower. So dispatchers were capable of doing more, such as myself as well, but it wasn't as relaxing for me. And I felt it was a little bit more relaxing and enjoyable before it got way super hectic. And it was just too much. It became, instead of just becoming challenging, it became too much for like a real job. And that's where it was just like, okay, that's enough of this. And I mean, yes, there's hectic things when it comes to operating real trains and running trains, and heck, driving a truck. If you're driving a truck for real, and oh my God, trust me, I can't. It's hard for me to go 10 days in a row, or whatever it is, 5 days with 2 day break in the middle, which is what I did on my vacation. And another 5 days, just running, average 5 hour trips in between to try to get as far as you can. The longest leg I think was 7 hours or something. Shortest was 4.5, I think. But yeah, just doing that kind of thing, it gets tiring. And I wanted to become a truck driver at one time. Maybe when I was younger I could handle it, but man, I don't know if I could handle it now. Perhaps I could. Play enough music and keep my entertainment going, or keep my mind occupied. Trying to make sure I get rest. Whatever. take quick breaks when I can, and stretch your legs and whatever the hell you could do. But yeah, it's like, so I understand as far as real jobs and all that other stuff. Whoops. Oh yeah, so yeah, my video's up now. The 36. So this was an aerial. It takes 10 minutes and 57 seconds to go through it, and yes, there's silence on it, and there's going to be silence for these moving forward. But I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It shows 10, but I'm actually going to only have 9 videos. So in the coming days, I'll start uploading these, and I'll probably upload this. It won't be tonight, but tomorrow morning if I remember. Close that up. Close up my email before I start showing everybody my email again. What else is going on? Anyways, so yeah, I wrote that 10,000 character plus novel that I shortened down by getting rid of the last paragraph, but you know, my son, he even talked about it. He says, "Yeah, I'm starting to get bored of Niagara." And I like going out and watching trains in Niagara. He's kind of eager to do other things, and I said, "Yeah, I know what you mean," but he also is interested in some of the things. There's still other things to find out about with some of the short lines. CP's a mystery, but CP, trying to figure out when the hell they run and is a mystery, and it's hard to track them. It really is. I mean, they do verbal track warrants. The problem is you don't get the track warrant for the southbound train, and then knowing when the next southbound train is coming is a little bit difficult because there's only a couple small sections of ATCS that show you anything, and you need to be by you need to have data basically to do this. This is where I lost my drone. Right over here. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's right up here. Man, I wish it was in the snow. I would have been able to see it. I got some good footage, not here today, but just to the left of here, so it was really nice. Got some really good, nice shots. Not of this plant, but the one just further over. You could see this plant in the background. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff with Niagara still that I really want to somehow represent. For me to do it in a train simulator, I don't know how Scott does what he does. I've been asking him. And Scott out there, well, hey, he might not get this video tonight, but I've been bugging Scott. I'm like, I need to know how the hell you do what you do. I just can't figure it out for the life of me. I just can't. And don't get me wrong, I haven't tried overly hard either, so I've been a little bit lazy, but just a little trick as far as how you start and how you. I mean, he's making all this stuff, and it's just like, wow, I wish I could do that. And just to have those kind of assets, I'm thinking of rebranding again, because one thing that happened late this past week, coming into the weekend, was first I started looking for a sailing simulator. Now, the reason why I was looking for a sailing simulator is I've always the reason why I push towards simulations per se is I push towards simulations because I want to do things that I enjoy in the real world, seeing others do, or I want to be able to simulate something I wish I could do. So, for example, some of the simulations I have done. One of the first simulations that I did, even before train simulations, I think, was a flight simulator. I always thought it was cool. I was running flight simulators probably before I ran train simulators, I think. I was in my teens, mid-teens, I think. Yeah, oh yeah. In fact, I remember having it on a Commodore 64. So definitely, they were out. There was a couple. There was another flight simulator that was out that I got into back then, and there was a time where I wanted to be a navigator, and I either wanted to be a navigator on a ship or I wanted to be something to do with aircraft. So, because I was into maps and all that other stuff, I still am to this day. I love topography and all that kind of jazz. I enjoy that. So yeah, I that's the kind of thing I always wanted to do, and never really happened. I don't really mess around with flight simulators now. Um, this is the plant that these guys were pulling into today, not this photo, but anyways. Um, yeah, so it's one thing that I'm not into it right now, but I wish I was. So flight simulators kind of went away. Didn't really feel like, yeah, I always wanted to be a pilot. Once I had my drone, I mean, but even before I had my drone, I kind of fell out of the whole flight simulator thing. But I always wanted to have a drone. And one day I had, I finally got a drone, and it was like, oh, this is cool. And sometimes I just like flying. I got to fly. I didn't get to fly yesterday because it was a little bit too windy, but I did fly a lot today. I made up for it today, so had a fair amount of flight time, so that was good. That was fun. You guys will get to see it. I'll have it up. I'll upload them on my channel. I already got one video up. There'll be more. But other things that I like to do. For example, here's a perfect example. Ship. I'm into ships. I wanted to be a navigator on a ship. Uh, I wanted to be able to work on a ship or work as a bridge master, which is another thing. Um, that's something else that I forgot. I made a small little program called Bridge Master. Now, it was a very small program. It didn't do nearly all the things that I could have got it to do, but I've always thought about that. And if I can get a ship model, maybe I would do something like that. Um, just do something small and simple as a prototype. Make it good, and just have some fun with it. But I always wanted to be a bridge master back then. Now they're all automated down the Welland Ship Canal where I am. But I want to be a bridge master. I crossed under, and I thought, yeah, that'd be a cool job. I'd love to do that because I like ships, and heck, I used to ride my bike out from Niagara Falls and would ride out to Allenburg and watch the ships go there. Now I live in St. Catharines, so I mean it's plus I drive obviously for years, but now I just see ships passing whenever. I was gonna see them today, but I did. Actually, I saw a couple ships passing today. But yeah, doing the ship thing, that'd be kind of cool. Um, that's why I'm still, and there's still a part of me. I mean, I've wanted to be able to have a yacht. I've wanted to be able to have a sailboat. This is why I started looking into the sailboat simulators. I would love to be able to sail around the world. I would love to just be able to have a nice, decent boat. I had on a vacation once where I went through some of the locks up on the Trent Severn Waterway. I rented a boat, and it was cool. And it reminded me because my parents had a bigger boat, and actually I took a boat through the yacht. I took my dinghy through some of the locks on the Trent Severn Waterway one year too. I dinghied from Lake Simcoe up towards like through Bowles almost to one of the uh, I can't remember the name of the one, but it was a small section of the canal. It was fun, but there was nothing like renting a boat and going across Lake Huron, Georgian Bay specifically in Lake Huron, and started in Midland, and it was great. But I don't have a truck. I can't. I don't have a vehicle to tow a boat, and besides, boats are expensive. Yeah, okay. I do have 10 grand handy, but to have one just for around here, it's like, where am I gonna go? Out on Lake Ontario, I could do that. Could I go down and up and down the canal? Sure, I suppose. It takes 12 hours to get to transit one end of the canal to the other, so what's the point of that? I mean, it'd be kind of cool, but um, I'm not going to have that kind of size boat. I know that. Um, I've wanted a sailboat. I actually want to sail around the world someday, but that ain't going to happen. That'd be kind of cool. All these things that you can't do. This is what simulators are for. They give you, for me, I used to be in sports simulators. I used to play, or I used to do, I used to like a game called Hardball 3 for the Commodore 64. I used to like some of the EA Sports. I joke about one of the simulators being like EA Sports where they come out a new version. I liked wrestling simulators because I always wanted to be. There was a time where I had this fantasy of being a pro wrestler because I like pro wrestling, and wanted to do that. Pro- Problem with that is that's a very very tough profession. I mean, one, it's difficult to make money as a pro wrestler. You got to be really good. And there's a lot of pro wrestlers out there who don't make money, they lose money. So, but not only do they lose money, but they lose body parts and they lose years off their life because of stupid stunts. Um, but there are pro wrestlers who live a long and glorious life because they take care of their body and they take care of their finances and they have backup plans and they're smart and, but yeah, like I'm gonna be 50 next year, so no, I'm not gonna be a pro wrestler. And my son doesn't want to be a pro wrestler. He likes it, but he's not gonna be a pro wrestler, he says. I was curious because he was into karate for a while and I thought, yeah. I even asked him, yeah, maybe you want to do that UFC stuff. And I'm like, he said, no way. He loves sparring, but no, he wouldn't do. He wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, I was even thinking of having, doing the whole karate thing, having a karate simulator, something like that. Like there was ideas that I had for that too, and that would be kind of cool. Not for me. I wasn't more interested. Like I knew Emmett would be interested in that more than me. I'd be okay with it if it was interesting. Because my son has competed and won tournaments. He's got silvers, bronzes in some tournaments as well. He hasn't played. He hasn't medaled in a few tournaments, but he's done pretty good for his levels when he was in it. He's not in karate anymore. He gave that up just before the COVID crap started. But anyways, yeah, I'm going all over the place here. But this is why we do simulators, and unfortunately, ship simulators, as I'm finding out now, because I want to get my hands on a sailboat simulator. I mean, there is a good there's a sailboat simulators. There's two simulators there that I know of. There's Sail Away, which is a lot of good eye candy, but horrible physics. I know of some train simulations that's like that. And there is another one. Oh yeah, and somebody doesn't listen to the community and hates dealing with their community, and their price is still over $50 on the Steam, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. And they despise the Steam. They haven't even updated anything. Apparently, they changed versions, took away stuff out of the version, did all kinds of crazy crap. Um, the e-sale seems like to be like a really good one. Oh, here's a picture from today. Some of my screenshots are starting to get in. This is a picture of 420. What the hell was this? This is 421 just coming into Port Robinson Yard. That's just a leftover engine in the yard. So that's the way the yard looked. So what I'm doing is I'm basically chronologically followed this train. I got this train at Clifton, and I'll upload to 421. This would be probably the fourth one that I would upload is this one, because I went over to CP Welland, picked up what was going on over there. Maybe this was the third, actually. So this will be the third video. So this will come early next week. Could be as early as tomorrow night, possibly. But there's one picture of this train coming through Clifton that was a really nice one. There's another good one from before. Some of my older screenshots, but some of my newer screenshots are popping up now. Where are we at here? Wow, half an hour. It's past my bedtime. But anyways, but going back to what I was talking about, because man, did I really drift off. I talked about all kinds of different simulators, train simulators and ship simulators. That's the two things that's missing. There's not very good ship simulators, and there's not really. I mean, there's just not. And train simulators, we've been lucky to have some good train simulators like Run 8. Microsoft Train Simulator has a great database of user content out there. Unfortunately, whether it's OpenRails or whatever, the graphic engine for that is 10 years old, or actually more than 10 years old now. It's outdated. It's really starting to show its age. Even Run 8, in my opinion, Run 8's graphics are better than OpenRails / Microsoft Train Simulator, in my opinion. Which is fine. It's fine if the simulator, like, just having content is okay. And I know OpenRails has done a great job of fixing up the editors and doing other things, which, I honestly, I don't know. I know that they did some multiplayer or whatever. It doesn't beat Run. I don't think anything that beats Run 8. Run 8's was the first really to do it, and they're the best. I don't know of anybody who has done multiplayer like Run 8 has. Unfortunately, when it comes to... this is a picture from my vacation. This is Sudbury, Ontario. Right by my hotel, actually. That's kind of the view I had the one day. Actually, off a little bit to the right, and the hotel's just off to the right there. We had a third floor view looking. It was very similar to this view, actually. It was a little bit more to the right, looking towards the station that's straight ahead. Pretty cool stuff. Anyways, yeah. So 421. What the frick am I talking about? Run 8. Run 8. They knew how to do multiplayer. Multiplayer was a key goal for them, and I think they achieved it. I also understand why Run 8 wants to be able to be I think there's two main reasons why Run 8 wants to keep the development of the routes in-house, or at least to trusted third-party developers. They want to be able to control... number one, they want to be able to get extra revenue, which I can't blame them, because eventually only so many people are going to buy a train simulator. And, how are you going to make money? So you need you need to be able to sell download content, which they are the only provider of as well. Or, which also includes, like when I say download content, that includes routes and engines and cars. So they are the end provider. They are the last provider. They are the first and last provider of those things, other than authorized third-party developers, which really right now are all part of the Run 8 team in one way or another. So they're not technically the Southwest and the Southeast. Sorry, not Southwest. Northeast and the Southeast are third parties. I think they're considered. No, sorry. The Northeast is considered part of the Run 8. So it is Run 8, although it's developed by Mikey Um, Whereas, so that's still part of Run 8. Mikey's part of the Run 8 team. The Southeast, on the other hand, is developed separately. However, they're part of the Run 8 team, the beta team, and all that stuff. So they participate with Run 8 as far as beta testing goes. However, they are technically a third-party developer, which is fine. I was hoping more third-party developers would come on. Why there hasn't been or something, I have no idea. Because it seriously, to me, has a huge, huge freaking gap on options. They were fine before when you had updates, when you had different updates and you saw progression, you saw changes. But when all of that dried up about a couple years ago, and think it was about 2 years ago now, was the last upgrade. And funny enough is once those updates stopped, it wasn't too long where I started really questioning what I was doing in Run 8, because it was the updates and to build on the potential. I was willing to pay for it. If they had the smaller regions, I was willing to pay for them. Are you kidding? Not only would I buy one, I'd buy several, just to try them out, see what they're like, see how I like them, see if I could, operate with other servers. And to me, I mean, how many servers is the depot going to be able to put up? Do they have a server for every region? Now I understand. Think about it this way: the Northeast is a perfect example. Now the Northeast, granted, it's got the way the assets are. It uses a lot of the assets from the team, obviously, because it's part of Run 8, but they don't really have the custom assets that you would come to expect from a route. So there's a lot of stand-in assets, for example, like some of the locks, for example. You can see they're using stuff from not just the locks, but some of the buildings. Mikey's using as part of assets that are part of California. So you got Southwest stuff that's somehow finding its way into the Northeast or whatever. But then you have this canopy of trees that Mikey's done that you don't see in the Southwest, and to some extent you don't see in the Southeast either. He did a really good job. There's an area along the Hudson there where there's a towering hills that always caught my eye when Mikey did that. And that alone sold me on the Northeast. And I had fun with the Northeast. I got my money's worth on the Northeast. I lost interest in it. It was a mainly double track section. I did go for the Mohawk sub. I just couldn't get, and here's the problem again. I couldn't get enough people. There was not enough people interested in running the Northeast. Most people were on Southwest servers. So what do? Because they're on Southwest servers, they join because Southwest servers are busy, people join the Southwest servers. They don't want to join servers that aren't busy. Whether or not there's AI or not doesn't make a difference. They wanted to have either people or operations that went with it. So they'd want switchers that are ready. In order to have switchers that are ready, and in order to run certain local trains, if you wanted to do switching, you needed people to build those trains. You needed people to work those trains, work the switch lists, work the yards, work the humps. And the same thing goes with California. I don't know how Depot does it. They certainly don't do it at 100% prototypical levels. I can tell you that right now. They just don't have enough people. I don't care how much they're improving. I've said it before. They can't do it. Nobody can do it. Nobody can keep up with that level. You need probably, and not to mention, they got it all divided. They got their Depot Plus membership, and they got a Depot to try to please. No, I don't even know how many people go on the freaking Depot server, let alone the Depot Plus. I know the Depot Plus is busy in comparison, but the regular Depot server, I don't know how many people go on that. Most people are over at Depot Plus. So it's like, and do they even run a Northeast server anymore? I don't know if they do. It didn't matter to me because I could run a Northeast server. Heck, Smiley he ran a Northeast server for a long time, and maybe one or two people would show up on a regular basis, and it was just like running single player. You might be able to run things with Smiley. Smiley would run once in a while. He would run once in a while. They would do stuff. Eventually, they leave. They get tired of it. It gets boring. It gets boring for two people. You need a progression. You need a variety of jobs. And one thing that I had mentioned, model railroad clubs, for example. Here's the big kicker. And this is as far as the model railroad clubs go. When I was a member of it's kind of funny because it's Sudbury, and I took a lot of imagery over at Sudbury. That's why that was some of the last imagery I took was up in the Sudbury area before my trip home. Actually, I took some at Perry Sound, but so that was the last drone flight I had. Oddly enough, before I got home, so it was nice to finally fly after a couple weeks. But anyways, we operated the Sudbury region, the Waterloo Regional Model Railroad, which is in a Quonset hut, and it is. It's a what do you call those, mushroom design? I don't know what you call those damn things. It's similar to the La Mesa Model Railroad Club out in California or whatever that tries to do, oddly enough, Tehachapi, like the Run 8 territories. But it does a similar type of arrangement with the walls. So there's helixes. There's 6 levels planned for that thing. They are, I think, on the 3rd level now. They've made it to the 3rd level. There was at least 2 levels since I had been there. The 3rd level is in place now. They're operating off the 3rd level. I think they're operating off the 3rd level. I could be wrong on that, but they definitely have. Well, they always had an underneath label. So technically they're on the 4th level. So you got levels 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think. So technically there's 7. If you count the hidden staging, the Toronto yard, or the hole as they like to call it. And that's a fun club because you have only you have a yard master in Sudbury. You have 2 dispatchers, and the one dispatcher, the Cartier, there's nothing to run on. There's nothing to do on a Cartier sub right now. They got plenty of manpower available. The Cartier sub can be dispatched by the Toronto yardmaster. In fact, I used to do, if somebody would do Toronto, I would actually dispatch both Cartier and the other one. I would dispatch both of them. The other one was the Webwood sub, and that was all track warrant type, verbal track warrant, OCS, hybrid of OCS in Canada. But that was a fun club for me because it was an operating model railroad. And it was simple. You had about 6, you get a bunch of guys. You had a variety of jobs to choose from. you could specialize in certain areas. Like I specialized obviously in dispatching. I also I enjoyed doing working in the hole at the Toronto, which was just a staging yard. So I was in Romford operator, they called that. Romford operator slash Toronto staging slash car chase sub dispatcher. So it was all basically one position. It sounds like a lot, but it wasn't that much. It was very relaxing actually. I just sit in the hole and wait for trains to send trains out and flick the switches and let them know when they're clear and or let them know when they could stop or let me take control over or whatever, because if I needed to take control of the train I could do that. I had a throttle as well, and it was fun. And the funny thing was Ted Kosla and I, he's a member of the club, and some of you may know Ted in as the author of the Microsoft Train Simulator Mac Tier Sub. So I'm very familiar with Mac Tier Sub. I did a lot of activities for the Mac. I built a lot of activities for the Mac Tier Sub, as well as trying different multiplayer aspects. I actually created a TD3 territory for Mac Tier as well. And even though there's only CTC part of the way and then it's track warrant, but anyways, the there's only a little bit of CTC out of Toronto, and then it turns into track warrant, OCS actually. And so we had this conversation one day. I remember this because obviously he knew about simulations, and Microsoft Train Simulator was pretty much the last one he used. And he said a simulation is never going to be like a model railroad club. You're never going to be able to have that club-like atmosphere. And I didn't believe that. I said, no. I said I know about this thing called Run 8, and it seems, and this was in its infancy at the time, and I said, it sounds like, if I understand it correctly, because I was about to put my own server up, RTS, and I was a member of the team, and I said, my personal vision for putting RTS up was to have a similar environment. Now, back then, we weren't going to be able to run all the trains that was on, say, for example, the Mojave sub. And that was understandable. There was no AI yet. That was something I was hoping to see as either an update or possibly in a newer version down the line. Because there was updates happening all the time, you kind of got the sense that there was going to be progression. Things were going to come. You weren't going to get everything you wanted. A lot of people had ideas. They had obviously they had their own game plan on what they wanted to do. So one day it came down to the update stopped back in version 2. That was a couple years ago. They were busy with version 3. There was health issues. There was all kinds of things, but we haven't heard much. John's been around once in a while. He usually comes by to put out fires or kill rumors. That's seems like the only time he comes around. To TrainSim anyways. Apparently he gives all kinds of information to people in Depot Plus because the guys like to frequent it. They didn't learn the lesson last time with the damn server because they frequent it. They always had to frequent something. They can do whatever the hell they want. It's their business, and they can treat their community however they want to treat it. If they want to go with the most popular server out there, that's up to them, but they're missing out on other communities, other servers. And like I said the other day, I think the TrainSim community in general is dying. I've said that for good over a year. There's there's little new excitement. It's all same, either old rehashes or people trying to make the most out of something, and a lot of talk. Hell, I was even guilty of it. I tried. I tried to talk myself into thinking I can do it. A lot of it was the ego. I was really want to try. There's things I can do, but I gotta work in small. I gotta work within my skill level. In graphics, I'm just not skilled enough to do those yet. Um, but I'm gonna try things. Who knows? Maybe I'd be able to do a ship sim. I think I have. I think I'd be much more potential to do a ship simulator than a train simulator. Unfortunately, um, if I can get a good water model or something like that, that'd be kind of cool. But who knows? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do a bridge master simulator. Maybe I'll do a simulation of the Welland Ship Canal. You never know. I've had plenty of ideas. There's people doing stuff for like Panama Canal or something like that. Somebody did a Suez Canal simulation recently that released, but there's not much footage of it. And apparently Panama Canal's coming, and I mean there's like one review on Steam, and it got released in April, and they're selling it for over $50, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this thing must be good. But I'm like, it's what's the point of it? What's the challenges? Is there anything that's interesting about it? So I don't know. Um, I'm just babbling along right now. I'm going to be going to bed soon. Didn't get enough sleep last night, so that's probably why I can't even think. And hello, how's it going? Um, but yeah, that's what really to me is missing. Is a sense of something leading to something else, something that you can visibly see the changes happening. You can visibly see the updates. You can visibly see. We've lost that connect with Run 8, as far as I'm concerned. Um, Patience is one thing, and it'll be ready when it's ready is one thing. But there comes a point where, you can talk all you want. Actions speak louder than words. Um, and it's sad because Run 8's the best. So I put a lot of my. Not only yeah, I've always been willing to be critical of it, but I've always supported it. Like I said before, and there's people on my channel. There was people in my chat the other night that were saying, yeah, Sean, you got me into Run 8. Here's another picture from today. This is at Clifton here. This is 422 heading out. 421 I got here as well, but just so this is from off by Kerr Park here in Swayze and Niagara Falls. This is the Y at Clifton. Clifton South. They got the intermodals there on the head end of heading towards Toronto. I live in St. Catharines, which is way next city over that way. But there's a Y here. He's just on the Stanford sub entering. Right over here is the Grimsby sub. So it's a big. I have other pictures of it. This is Stanley Avenue here. Crosses over that way, and I'm flying pretty much over Swayze. But like I said, I got a lot of drone footage. This one is up. There's a video of this up on my channel. Or yeah, anyways, not this, but a video of that last image is already up on my channel right now. There's no sound to it, but you can see that entire train in the footage from that on my channel if you're interested. And there'll be more to come from this weekend. Um, so yeah. So I just want to finish this thought. Every time an image comes, all of a sudden I'm just like a cat watching a freaking laser pointer. So yeah, having that visible guide of what you know what's coming. And don't get me wrong, the Run 8 team has been able to bring out a lot of rabbits out of their hats and surprise us. I mean, I remember with the hump scan out, I was just like, whoa, this is cool. And that was genuinely one of the best updates that Run 8 came out with. Version 2 was a game changer for me. Version 1 was great. I totally liked version 1. I wanted to see, I was hoping to see the AI and how that was going to work, and it worked awesome. The problem, like I said, though, is the people to not just the AI was to replace people that weren't there. Unfortunately, not enough people took that as it being busy. You could have a dispatcher to dispatch all that traffic, but it wasn't enough to really grow the audience. And the regions continued to develop. And LA was coming. Imagine if LA released with version 2. Oh my god. I never would have experienced what I experienced in California that one night over on the Southwest server. I remember what it was like. I just remember the good old days of running on the Southwest server, and I don't like to live in the past, but unfortunately that's all there is, because the future isn't there right now. You cannot find, I don't care if you can be whatever server. You can be Depot that can say, they move this so many cars, and they have this so many people on their servers all the time still, and they're busy and blah blah blah. Listen, it's one thing of having people on a server and having people run trains. It's another thing of being able to run the entire operation. Back then you could run the entire operation because you had 3 subdivisions. You had the Cajon or San Bernardino sub, I guess it would be. There's a Cajon sub. No, I guess a Cajon sub. Anyways, you had Cajon. You had I'm getting confused with the LA. So yeah, what am I talking about? I don't know. I'm getting my subs. It's Cajon, San Bernardino sub, whatever the hell it is. It's Cajon route. So you had Cajon hooked up to Needles, and you had it was very similar to, except not as much traffic, very similar to Sudbury, in fact, because that's 3 subdivisions all joining into one area. Of course, it's much bigger, and it's a transcontinental, like a U.S. transcontinental versus a Canadian transcontinental, which is totally different. And Sudbury was not the epic center of all the transcontinentals, just the transcontinental passenger runs, which was 1 train, or 2 trains. But no, it was just amazing, and it's sad that time just keeps going by, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting any younger. And I jokingly said over on TrainSim one day, their famous quote is, "It'll be ready when it's ready," and I said, "Yeah, I'll be dead when I'm dead." So, I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I continue to get older. Time continues. The technology continues to change. I don't know what technology they're using. We're already still using some of the Microsoft train simulator technology out there in some sims that are very popular, but it really hasn't developed. And it's like there's a lot of cool stuff out there that has really, really captivated what the computers are capable of doing. Virtual, oh my god. I mean, I don't have virtual headset, and I really haven't. There's nothing out there that is really. I saw a virtual ship simulator the other day, and that kind of blew my mind when I saw it. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. But there's also a virtual sale apparently, which I don't know about that. But anyways, that's what's missing. There's a totally technology, and it all comes down to this is a micro junior. This is not as popular. People do not. There's more people that will go sailing a boat or playing an action game than there is wanting to run trains. And apparently running ships too is the same thing. Ships aren't more people are interested in if they want to do ships, the one ships they'll do is battleships or something like that, or something where they can shoot up a few things and blow up a bunch of things. Those are really popular, but yeah, and it's sad because that's missing. So there's a void there. I wanted to try my best at just shutting up and trying it. I really did. It's going to take me a long time to learn it. I have a job. I should be sleeping right now. Actually, getting ready for work. I got to get up at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I should be going to bed. Actually, I'm going to probably wind this down now. But too bad. Viewers are coming up there. You can check this. The review will be up later on. We're over 1 hour and 6 minutes. If you're also interested to, I go in literally almost 10,000 characters of a post here that just basically says my opinion on what's lacking in the train simulator realm, and it goes word for word in detail that I'm just kind of yapping about. It goes through what I see as the history of the various simulators and where we're at today, and in my opinion, what's missing now. Obviously, this is my opinion. This isn't the overall popular consensus or anything like this. This is just my opinion. Do people share my opinion? Absolutely. Do they share every opinion? No. But I think there are some things that people can agree with or agree to disagree, and that's fine. This isn't a topic to start a flame war or bash a product, because I'm not interested in bashing Run 8. They're a small team. They're doing what they can. Let me make that perfectly clear. And I wish that came through more. My problem is that small team should understand that there's an audience out there who did support them, who may have got their money back or money worth a long, long time ago, who wants to throw more money their way. And there's a lot of those people who supported them who no longer are interested. They're less vocal than me. I was there before day one. I was on the Run 8 beta team twice. And that was before the first server went up, and that was my server, RTS. If it wasn't for being on the beta team, RTS wouldn't have been up when it was up. It wouldn't have been having the systems in place. It wouldn't have had the beta software already in firm development to do the things that I was doing. That was all because the Run 8 team let me in on the beta team, and I gave them a server that they could test things out with. So that was my contribution. They certainly helped me. It was a win-win situation, I thought, until it became an issue for them, apparently. But that's their business. But it is what it is. I mean, for me, there's no hard feelings. I don't care. And yes, I'm going to be critical at times, and if they take it the wrong way, I can't help it. That's just the way it. That's just the way it is. I'm not worried. I'm not going to stop talking about something just because it's dead. Until I move on to something and just say, okay, well, you know, it's like screaming. It's like calling out there and daring somebody to do something about it. And I've tried. I try to do something about it myself. I think there are people talented enough. It's just, what are you going to do about it? You going to rehash? Are you going to have an open rails where you rehash a program from 20 years ago and try to do things? They can only do what they can do too, but still. Obviously, they're doing more than what I can do because I haven't been able to do nothing. And that sucks. Because I want to do something. I want to contribute. I want to be able to bring ideas forward. I want to be able to motivate. I want to, I don't want to destroy. I'm not here to destroy anything. If you're hearing this and you're hearing negativity about Run 8, or you're thinking that you're hearing negativity Run 8, and you've never tried Run 8, I don't care if version 3, do not count on version 3 being out next week, next year, or ever. Go out, get version 2. It will likely be backwards compatible from what I understand. You can get version 2. You will get your money's worth for that alone. And you will get to try it out, and you will be that much more ahead when version 3 comes out. And if or when version 3 comes out, you will be that much more ahead. There is nothing else out there, in my opinion, that comes close to TrainSim. That comes close to Run 8. Yes, there's some prettier ones. Yes, there's some ones where you can build routes. My son's doing it. He enjoys it. I've built a route, or I started doing it until I decided not to do it anymore. I strongly recommend, and I will continue to recommend, Run 8 for anybody who hasn't. I want to see more people into Run 8. That's that's needed. That's the only way. And then maybe maybe another server will go up, and it'll strike some popularity, and it'll get enough people to run, or maybe it'll only be limited like I wanted to do. I wasn't worried about having every freaking territory or every route. Just, you want to do something like a Mojave only server, by all means do it. Just do Mojave Needles. I bet you that would be okay. That might attract a lot of people, because not everybody can afford every route. But some people want more than that because they have Cajon. Well, what if I have Cajon? What if I have this? How can I participate? There's a lot of people that have more than just Mojave and Cajon, or Mojave and Needles, which is the base game. But still, if you're part of the base game, you can join any one of those servers that are based out of Southwest, regardless of how big they are, and you can still run trains. And if you only have half an hour, whatever time you have to run, you'll be able to run a train. You'll have the opportunity. There'll be a train there for you. There'll be plenty of trains. People want more trains, or more operators. They need more operators. They need more people to switch yards. They need more people to do things. So there's a serious lack of manpower. And I want to see that improve. There's more people coming to it. A lot of people are going over to Depot. Hey, more power to them. If that makes Depot better, hey, awesome. But is Depot going to be for everybody? Is suddenly we're going to have too many people and not enough room to run trains on Depot? Hey, maybe that'll put up more, or require a demand for more servers. I don't know. If that's how it has to go that way, then that's how it goes. And that's cool. But, anyways, time to breathe and go to bed. So yeah, I got the sheet coming up right now with my drone footage, going through with that. This is the video that's up right now. CN422, Clifton South, Kirk Park. There will be more. These have no sound. They are just raw videos of some of the trains that's going through, I'll put up another one. I'll start uploading another one tomorrow morning or tomorrow at lunch, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's about it for now. Anyways, guys, have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Take care.